Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday and happy virtual tea party summer edition. So, let me know what you're drinking, what you're up to today. I've had to just kind of adjust to life. Tim ended up having to work today. So I am soloing it here with Rena. So she may pop in to ask me for a few things at some point during our time together. Hopefully she'll have a good attitude and y'all won't have to see her in one of her meltdown modes. But fingers crossed that she's gonna be a happy girl today. So I am drinking the Summer Goblin Market Tea from Dryad Tea. And it was inspired by Christina Rossetti's poem, Goblin Market, which I will read for us in a little while. But this is what the little Dryad tea packet says about Summer Goblin Market Tea. Every summer, the goblins open their market full of sights and sounds of the hotter months. Fruit and drink flow freely, and trinkets are sold to the highest bidder. So, this is a caffeine free tea that tastes strongly of cinnamon and orange with the perfect sweet notes of strawberry. It is a perfect dessert tea. So, it is very good. Definitely very good. So before I read our poem, I will go ahead and check the chat. So let me see who's here and say hello to everyone. Hello, Kat, my kindred spirit. So happy that you can make it today. Namaste, Swank. It's lovely to see you. I hope you've been enjoying your social media break and taking care of yourself. Way to go for practicing self-care. Right? Yeah. I mean, hey, I wish we could all meet together and have a tea party in real life, but we do the best we can, right? And we do it virtually until one day we will all get together. I have ham and cheese sandwiches, macaroons, and cherry pie to go in my tea. Oh my gosh. You went all the way out, Swank. So I just had some vegetable beef soup a while ago for lunch. I did make oatmeal bars a couple of days ago, but I didn't try to bring my oatmeal bar in here because I didn't think y'all would want to see me eating on camera, especially eating while I'm trying to talk. Ready for tea time? Lovely to see you here, Eleanor. Hello, Avi. How are you? Thank you for popping in. I know it's very, very late where you are over in Australia. So thank you for hopping on, and I hope you sleep well and rest well. And happy tea party. Yeah, I'll be having my afternoon coffee after we get off today. For sure. Working on a blog post. Awesome. Ooh, homemade pizza. So good. I'm guessing it's homemade. He's baking it. You said he's baking it. I mean, a frozen pizza can be good too, but I just feel like Barry is making you a nice homemade pizza. Earl Grey cup of tea. Very nice. So I will go ahead now and I will read Goblin Market. So I just am pulling it up on my phone instead of trying to. I have it printed out somewhere too, but I was kind of pressed for time with Rena this morning. So I said, I'll just read it on my phone. Hey, that's fine. Like I said, sometimes a good frozen pizza, I'll be honest, during the pandemic, I practically lived on frozen pizza and wine. I'll be totally honest. It was not the healthiest thing, but it got me through a very rough time, as you all know how rough that was. Still full of coffee. Oh, I haven't even seen I haven't seen the first Hellboy or second. I haven't watched any of those movies. But when I read the poem, you'll have to let us know if the connections, are evident in the movie. Oh, yum. Cauliflower crust are good. I've made those before. Um, and they are pretty good, you know. I mean, obviously nothing beats the real, I say real, but you know what I mean, crust. But cauliflower crust is healthier. Yeah, you don't want to get it too hot and then you burn your mouth and you can't enjoy the party. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and read Goblin Market. So it is a poem written by the Victorian era poet Christina Rossetti. And I will read it and then I'll talk a little bit about it because I actually did write a paper on this poem in grad school. Goblin Market by Christina Rossetti. Morning and evening, maids heard the goblins cry. Come buy our orchard fruits, come buy, come buy. Apples and quinces, lemons and oranges, plump unpacked cherries, melons and raspberries, bloom down cheeked peaches, swart headed mulberries, wild freeborn cranberries, crab apples, dewberries, pineapples, blackberries, apricots, strawberries, all ripe together in summer weather. Morns that pass by, fair eves that fly, come by, come by. Our grapes fresh from the vine, pomegranates full and fine, dates and sharp bullaces, rare pears and green gages, damsons and bilberries, taste them and try. Currants and gooseberries, bright fire like barberries, figs to fill your mouth, citrons from the south, sweet to tongue and sound to eye. Come by, come by. Evening by evening, among the brookside rushes, Laura bowed her head to hear. Lizzie veiled her blushes, crouching close together in the cooling weather, with clasping arms and cautioning lips, with tingling cheeks and fingertips. Lie close, Laura said, pricking up her golden head. We must not look at the goblin men. We must not buy their fruits. Who knows upon what soil they fed their hungry, thirsty roots? Come by, call the goblins, hobbling down the glen. Oh, cried Lizzie, Laura, Laura, you should not peep at goblin men. Lizzie covered up her eyes, covered close lest they should look. Laura reared her glossy head and whispered like the restless brook. Look, Lizzie, look, Lizzie, down the glen tramp little men. One hauls a basket, one bears a plate, one lugs a golden dish of many pounds weight. How fair the vine must grow, whose grapes are so luscious. How warm the wind must blow through those fruit bushes. No, said Lizzie, no, no, no. Their offers should not charm us. Their evil gifts would harm us. She thrust a dimpled finger in each ear, shut eyes, and ran. Curious Laura chose to linger, wondering at each merchant man. One had a cat's face, one whisked a tail, one tramped at a rat's pace, one crawled like a snail, one like a wombat, proud, obtuse, and furry, one like a rattle, tumbled, hurry, scurry. She heard a voice like voice of doves cooing all together. They sounded kind and full of loves in the pleasant weather. Laura stretched her gleaming neck like a rush-embedded swan, like a lily from the beck, like a moonlit poplar branch, like a vessel at the launch when its last restraint is gone. Backwards up the mossy glen turned and trooped the goblin men with their shrill repeated cry, Come by, come by. When they reached where Laura was, they stood stock still upon the moss, leering at each other, brother with queer brother, signaling each other, brother with sly brother. One set his basket down, one reared his plate. One began to weave a crown of tendrils, leaves, and rough nuts brown. Men sell not such in any town. One heaved the golden weight of dish and fruit to offer her. Come by, was still their cry. Laura stared but did not stir, longed but had no money. The whist-tail merchant bade her taste in tones as smooth as honey. The cat-faced purred, the rat-faced spoke a word of welcome, and the snail-paced even heard. One parrot-voiced and jolly cried, "Pretty goblin, still for pretty Polly." One whistled like a bird. But sweet-toothed Laura spoke in haste, "Good folk, I have no coin to take wert our purloin. I have no copper in my purse, I have no silver either, and all my gold is on the furze that shakes in windy weather above the rusty heather." "You have much gold upon your head," they answered all together. "Buy from us with a golden curl." She clipped a precious golden lock, she dropped a tear more rare than pearl, then sucked their fruit globes, fair or red, sweeter than honey from the rock, stronger than man rejoicing wine, clearer than water flowed that juice. She never tasted such before, how should it cloy with length of use? She sucked and sucked and sucked the more fruits which that unknown orchard bore. She sucked until her lips were sore, then flung the empty rinds away, but gathered up one kernel stone, and knew not was it night or day, as she turned home alone. Lizzie met her at the gate, full of wise upbraidings. "Dear, you should not stay so late. Twilight is not good for maidens. Should not loiter in the glen in the haunts of goblin men. Do you not remember Jeanie, how she met them in the moonlight? Took their gifts, both choice and many, ate their fruits and wore their flowers, plucked from bowers where summer ripens at all hours. But ever in the moonlight she pined and pined away, sought them by night and day, found them no more, but dwindled and grew gray, then fell with the first snow, while to this day no grass will grow where she lies low. I planted daisies there a year ago that never blow. You should not loiter so." "Nay, hush," said Laura. "Nay, hush, my sister. I ate and ate my fill, yet my mouth waters still. Tomorrow night I will buy more," and kissed her. "Have done with sorrow, I'll bring you plums tomorrow, fresh on their mother twigs. Cherries worth getting, you cannot think what figs my teeth have met in. What melons icy cold, piled on a dish of gold, too huge for me to hold. What peaches with a velvet nap, pellucid grapes without one seed. Odorous indeed must be the mead whereon they grow, and pure the wave they drink, with lilies at the brink, and sugar sweet their sap. Golden head by golden head, like two pigeons in one nest, folded in each other's wings, then lay down in their curtained bed, like two blossoms on one stem, like two flakes of new fallen snow, like two wands of ivory tipped with gold for awful kings. Moon and stars gazed in at them, wind sang to them lullaby, lumbering owls forbore to fly, not a bat flapped to and fro round their rest, cheek to cheek and breast to breast, locked together in one nest. Early in the morning, when the first cock crowed his warning, neat like bees, as sweet and busy, Laura rose with Lizzie, fetched in honey, milked the cows, aired and set to rights the house, kneaded cakes of whitest wheat, cakes for dainty mouse to eat. Next turned butter, whipped up cream, fed their poultry, sat and sewed, talked as modest maidens should. Lizzie with an open heart, Laura in an absent dream. One content, one sick in part, one warbling for the mere bright day's delight, one longing for the night. At length slow evening came. They went with pitchers to the reedy brook, Lizzie most placid in her look, Laura most like a leaping flame. They drew the gargling water from its deep. Lizzie plucked purple and rich golden flags, then turning homeward said, "The sunset flushes those furthest loftiest crags. Come, Laura, not another maiden lags. No wilful squirrel wags, the beasts and birds are fast asleep." But Laura loitered still among the rushes, and said the bank was steep, and said the hour was early still, the dew not fallen, the wind not chill, listening ever, but not catching the customary cry, come by, with its iterated jingle of sugar-baited words. not for all her watching, once discerning even one goblin, racing, whisking, tumbling, hobbling, let alone the herds that used to trample along the glen, in groups or single of fruit brisk merchant men. Till Lizzie urged, "Oh, Laura, come! I hear the fruit call, but I dare not look. You should not loiter longer at this brook. Come with me home. The stars rise, the moon bends her arc, each glowworm winks her spark. Let us get home before the night grows dark, for clouds may gather through this is summer weather. Put out the lights and drench us through. Then if we lost our way, what should we do?" Laura turned cold as stone to find her sister heard that cry alone. That goblin cry, "Come buy our fruits, come buy." Must she then buy no more such dainty fruit? Must she no more such succous pasture find, gone deaf and blind? Her tree of life drooped from the roots. She said not one word in her heart's sore ache, but peering through the dimness, naught discerning, trudged home, her pitcher dripping all the way. So crept to bed and lay, silent till Lizzie slept, then sat up in a passionate yearning and gnashed her teeth for balked desire and wept as if her heart would break. Day after day, night after night, Laura kept watch in vain in sullen silence of exceeding pain. She never caught again the goblin cry, "Come back, come back." She never spied the goblin men hawking their fruits along the glen. But when the noon waxed bright, her hair grew thin and gray. She dwindled as the fair full moon doth turn to swift decay and burn her fire away. One day, remembering her kernel stone, she set it by a wall that faced the south, dewed it with tears, hoped for a root, watched for a waxing shoot. But there came none. It never saw the sun. It never felt the trickling moisture run. While with sunk eyes and faded mouth she dreamed of melons as a traveler sees false waves in desert drought with shade of leaf-crowned trees, and burns the thirstier in the sandful breeze. She no more swept the house, tended the fowls or cows, fetched honey, kneaded cakes of wheat, brought water from the brook, but sat down listless in the chimney nook and would not eat. Tender Lizzie could not bear to watch her sister's cankerous care, yet not to share. So night and morning she caught the goblin's cry, "Come buy our orchard fruits, come buy, come buy." Beside the brook along the glen, she heard the tramp of goblin men. The yoke and stir poor Laura could not hear, longed to buy fruit to comfort her, but feared to pay too dear. She thought of Jeanie in her grave, who should have been a bride, but who for joys brides hoped to have fell sick and died in her gay prime in earliest winter time, with the first glazing rime, with the first snowfall of crisp winter time, till Laura dwindling seemed knocking at death's door. Then Lizzie weighed no more better and worse, but put a silver penny in her purse, kissed Laura, crossed the heath with clumps of firs at twilight, halted by the brook, and for the first time in her life began to listen and look. Laughed every goblin when they spied her peeping, came towards her hobbling, flying, running, leaping, puffing and blowing, chuckling, clapping, crowing, clucking and gobbling, mopping and mowing, full of airs and graces, pulling wry faces, demure grimaces, cat-like and rat-like, rattle and wombat-like, snail-paced in a hurry, parrot-voiced and whistler, helter-skelter, hurry-scurry, chattering like magpies, fluttering like pigeons, gliding like fishes, hugged her and kissed her, squeezed and caressed her, stretched up their dishes, panniers and plates. Look at our apples, russet and done, bob at our cherries, bite at our peaches, citrons and dates, grapes for the asking, pears red with basking out in the sun, plums on their twigs, pluck them and suck them, pomegranates, figs. Good folk, said Lizzie, mindful of Jeanie, give me much and many. Hold out her apron, toss them her penny. Nay, take a seat with us, honor and eat with us, they answered, grinning. Our feast is but beginning, night yet is early, warm and dew pearly, wakeful and starry. Such fruits as these no man can carry. Half their bloom would fly, half their dew would dry, half their flavor would pass by. Sit down and feast with us, be welcome, guest with us, cheer you and rest with us. Thank you, said Lizzie, but one waits at home alone for me. So without further parleying, if you will not sell me any of your fruits, though much and many, give me back my silver penny I tossed you for a fee. They began to scratch their pates, no longer wagging, purring, but visibly demurring, grunting and snarling. One called her proud, cross-grained, unciviled. Their tones waxed loud. Their looks were evil, lashing their tails. They trod and hustled her, elbowed and jostled her, clawed with their nails, barking, mewing, hissing, mocking, tore her gown and soiled her stocking, twitched her hair out by the roots, stamped upon her tender feet, held her hands and squeezed their fruits against her mouth to make her eat. White and golden Lizzie stood like a lily in a flood, like a rock of blue-veined stone lashed by tides obstreperously, like a beacon left alone in a hurry roaring sea, sending up a golden fire, like a fruit-crowned orange tree, white with blossoms honey sweet, sore beset by wasp and bee, like a royal virgin town, topped with gilded dome and spire, close beleaguered by a fleet, mad to tug her standard down. One may lead a horse to water, 20 cannot make him drink. Though the goblins cuffed and caught her, coaxed and fought her, bullied and besought her, scratched her, pinched her, black as ink, kicked and knocked her, mauled and mocked her, Lizzie uttered not a word, would not open lip from lip, lest they should cram a mouthful in, but laughed in heart to feel the drip of juice that syruped all her face and lodged in dimples of her chin, and streaked her neck, which quaked like curd. At last the evil people, worn out by resistance, flung back her penny, kicked their fruit along whichever road they took, not leaving root or stone or shoot. Some writhed into the ground, some dived into the brook, with ring and ripple, some scudded on the gale without sound, some vanished in the distance. In a smart ache tingle, Lizzie went her way, knew not was it night or day, sprang up the bank, tore through the firs, threaded copse and dingle, and heard her penny jingle, bouncing in her purse. Its bounce was music to her ear. She ran and ran as if she feared some goblin man dogged her with jibe or curse or something worse. But not one goblin scurried after, nor was she pricked by fear. The kind heart made her windy pace that urged her home quite out of breath with haste and inward laughter. She cried, Laura, up the garden, did you miss me? Come and kiss me. Never mind my bruises. Hug me, kiss me, suck my juices, squeeze from goblin fruits for you. Goblin pulp and goblin dew. Eat me, drink me, love me, Laura, make much of me. For your sake, I have braved the glen and had to do with goblin merchant men. Laura started from her chair, flung her arms up in the air, clutched her hair. Lizzie, Lizzie, have you tasted for my sake the fruit forbidden? Must your light like mine be hidden? Your young life like mine be wasted, undone in mine undoing, and ruined in my ruin? Thirsty, cankered, goblin-ridden? She clung about her sister, kissed and kissed and kissed her. Tears once again refreshed her shrunken eyes, dropping like rain after a long sultry drought. Shaking with anguish, fear, and pain, she kissed and kissed her with a hungry mouth. Her lips began to scorch, that juice was wormwood to her tongue. She loathed the feast. Writhing as one possessed, she leaped and sung, rent all her robe, and wrung her hands in lamentable haste, and beat her breast. Her locks streamed like the torch borne by a racer at full speed, or like the mane of horses in their flight, or like an eagle when she stems the light straight toward the sun, or like a caged thing freed, or like a flying flag when armies run. Swift fire spread through her veins, knocked at her heart, met the fire smoldering there, and overbore its lesser flame. She gorged on bitterness without a name. Ah, fool to choose such part of soul-consuming care, since failed in the mortal strife, like the watchtower of a town which an earthquake shatters down, like a lightning-stricken mass, like a wind-uprooted tree spun about, like a foam-topped waterspout cast down headlong in the sea. She fell at last. Pleasure past and anguish past. Is it death or is it life? Life out of death. That night long Lizzie, watched by her, counted her pulse, flagging stir, felt for her breath, held water to her lips, and cooled her face with tears and fanning leaves. But when the first birds chirped about their eaves, and early reapers plodded to the place of golden sheaves and dew-wet grass, bowed in the morning wind so brisk to pass, and new buds with new day, opened of cup like lilies on the stream, Laura awoke as from a dream, laughed in the innocent old way, hugged Lizzie, but not twice or thrice. Her gleaming locks showed not one thread of gray. Her breath was sweet as May, and light danced in her eyes. Days, weeks, months, years afterwards, when both were wives with children of their own, their mother hearts beset with fears, their lives bound up in tender lives, Laura would call the little ones and tell them of her early prime, those pleasant days long gone of not returning time. Would talk about the haunted glen, the wicked, quaint fruit merchant men, their fruits like honey to the throat, but poison in the blood. Men sell not such in any town. Would tell them how her sister stood in deadly peril to do her good. And when the fiery antidote, then joining hands to little hands, would bid them cling together. For there is no friend like a sister in calm or stormy weather, to cheer one on the tedious way, to fetch one if one goes astray, to lift one if one totters down, to strengthen whilst one stands. I know that's a long one, but that is Goblin Market, and that is the inspiration for the tea because of obviously the summer Goblin Market. So I will not spend a whole lot of time talking about my paper on the Goblin Market, but I did write about this poem through the lens of the angel in the house versus the fallen woman and the Madonna versus the horror complex, because very prevalent in Victorian society, and unfortunately rearing its head again, is this idea of a woman's place being in the home, and that if she ventures out at night, that whatever harm befalls her, she has brought upon herself. So you see the two contrasting types of women and those sisters. And the very obvious, I wouldn't even say undertones, but I would say overtones of sexual liberation, or, the supposed danger, right? Of being a woman who leaves your house and, has desires. So, whew, my tea's probably cold after all that. So I'm going to check these comments. Hey, Crystal, I'm so glad you could join us today. And some more hays and highs. Hey, Kayla, I'm so glad you're here. I love all the hays and highs. Yes, the fallen woman. Yeah, I wrote a lot about that concept of the angel in the house and the fallen woman. So yeah, I had a bone to pick with Goblin Market, even though, at the end it does talk about like the love of sisters, and that's something I do appreciate, the like friendships that I have with other women. So let me know what you've been reading. Like, we're just sitting here having tea. What have you been reading? What have you been watching? So I've been watching a few movies for Giallo July that was created and hosted by Alex, the Bookubus, and also co-hosted by Kelsey from Kelsey's Nostalgic Life. So I watched Deep Red for the first time. I watched what I think a lot of people say is like the OG Giallo. I don't know if you can definitely pin it down, but I think this one is one of the OG for sure, and that is Blood and Black Lace. So I watched that one, and I liked both of those. And then last night I watched Never Torture a Duckling, and I liked that one too. So I'm branching out to a lot of new to me Giallo movies this year. Then I'm trying to think what else I've been watching. This morning I watched Evil Dead Rise because one of my favorite podcasts, the Pod Mortem podcast, they're going to be talking about Evil Dead Rise on their episode that comes out tomorrow. And I watched Evil Dead Rise. I actually watched it when it came out in the theater, but I haven't watched it since then. So I wanted to get a refresher before I listened to that podcast episode. And I've also done some junk journaling. If you are in Cat's Discord and you look at this like Saturday morning momentum section, or the thriving, or no, what are we doing, rise and remix in 2026, if you look at that, I am leaning heavily into Lee's accountability corner for having, I can't remember exactly how it's all phrased, but it's like joyful July, like do things that bring you joy. So I did work my butt off last week from Monday through Thursday to make sure I could take Friday off as just a pure self-care day. And it had been a couple of months since I had done my junk journaling. So I did that Friday and made a couple of pages here. Like, summer is my least favorite season, but we're having a virtual tea party for summer. The season is summer, whether I like it or not. So I did make a page for summer. And then, because I was practicing extra self-care all day Friday, I just made a spread for some things that I found healing, practicing self-love, nourishing. So I was really happy to get back to my junk journaling, because like I said, it had been a couple of months. As far as what I've been reading right now, I'm listening to the audiobook for The Wishing Pool and Other Stories by Tananarive Due, who is one of my favorite authors. I am 3 stories in, and I've loved all of them so far. I just finished listening to the audiobook for Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. I don't usually read middle grade. There have been a couple of middle grades I've read over the past few years that I liked. One was The Haunting of Aveline Jones. I can't remember the author. And another one was Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell. But over the years, I've heard a lot of people talk about how much they enjoyed Small Spaces. So I had it on hold on my Libby app, and it came in. So that was like an impromptu read. And I know there's more in the series, and I will continue with it because it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time with it. Then I finished reading Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I started listening to it on audiobook and decided to just go ahead and get a physical copy because I do want to write about it. I really liked it. I know it's also like a trilogy, and the Southern Reach trilogy, and then I think I've heard there's even a 4th and maybe 5th book that's come out. So I will get to it at some point, not right now immediately though. But I did really like this. It's just a lot of strange. It's more sci-fi than horror, but I really liked the uncanniness of the area to which this crew goes. I don't want to say a lot about it, but it was weird and eerie, and I liked it. Tim and I did watch the movie Friday night. Yeah, Friday night, and the movie was fine. I liked it okay. It was actually, it had like some definite similarities to the book, but there were a lot of things that were different. And some of it I understood why they changed it, and then other aspects I was like, I'm not sure why you did that, but it was fine. But I definitely loved the book. And then I also finished Cyanide Constellations, which is a short story collection by Sarah Tantlinger. And I really like this one too. It's got a lot of botanical and like eco horror type stuff, and she just writes like beautifully. She can write the most disturbing things, but the way that she writes it, it'll be just like this gorgeous prose. So I liked it a lot. And I'm still working my way through Sick Houses, Haunted Homes, and the Architecture of Dread by Layla Taylor. I really am enjoying this too. And then Monster Theory by Jeffrey Jerome Cohen. So far, I've only read Jeffrey Cohen's actual part of this. The first essay in it is his 7 theses of monsters, which I'm really having a good time thinking about monsters through the different lenses that he talked about. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've been up to. So I'm going to check the comments and see what everybody else has been reading or watching. Let's see. Okay, that sounds interesting. I'm not familiar with the Sheep Detectives, so I will have to look all that up. Yeah, I've seen like little ads or trailers or whatever you want to call for that television show, but I haven't watched it. So let us know what you're thinking of it, Swain. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. I just have to try to be like, here are the things that can be good about summer, and then just lean into it as I very impatiently wait for fall. Okay. Yeah, it's horrible. It's so hot and so humid and so miserable where I live. Like it's just the worst. And we've supposed to have, I can't even talk. We have had rain in our forecast for the past several days, but it hasn't rained. And we really need it again. It's like we keep alternating between these like extremely dry periods and then several days in a row of like thunderstorms and heavy downpours, and then again with the just long days of sunshine. So that really is worse than anything, because we really need that slow kind of soaking rain, and we just haven't gotten that in a while. So I hope that we will. Oh, yay! Mind Killer, Cuban Poets, and a short anthology of horror stories. I love that. So, what is that anthology that you're reading, Crystal? Um, I would love to know. I know, Kat, you've gotten to the Dark Tower series, and I have to confess, I have not yet read the Dark Tower series, so I got to get on that. You are really getting through it. Partner in crime. Oh yeah, you have a lot of fun with your group, the Beaumont Brady Brady bunch. Yes, I love the book, and even though it's short, I think my copy had maybe like 190 something pages. It still took me a while to go through it because I just wanted to, make sure that I could understand as much as possible about what was going on. But there's a lot that I'm not sure I could even explain now, which I think is one of the things that makes the whole concept of it scary, because like I was talking about reading that monster, the 7 theses of monsters, and one that I'm really stuck on right now is the monster as harbinger of categorical crisis. I just wrote a Substack article about the movie The Bay using that thesis, and it's just the idea that the monster can't be defined. It doesn't fit into one category or another, and that's what can make it so scary, because as humans, our brains, we want to put things in categories. We want to be able to make logical sense of something, and then when something doesn't fit any of that and we can't do it, then it becomes a threat or something monstrous to it. Uh, it is very difficult for a lot of reasons. Summer it is too hot and too humid, and I really have a reverse seasonal affective disorder where a lot of people experience more depression in the winter. Mine is in the summer because I can't go outside. And the sun, I like the sun, in winter and fall and a little bit in spring, but in the summer, the sun just becomes too oppressive, too bright, too oppressive. And then, like I said, I can't get outside. And then, obviously I love Renna, but when she's not in school and Tim is working so much, it's just me and Renna. And anyone who cares for a child knows what I'm talking about. And then when you have a child with certain disabilities or needs, then there's another layer, of caregiving added to parenting. So it's very tiring. It's very tiring. And then Renna, she wants to go to school. Thankfully, she loves school and she loves riding the bus. But even she will get up some days and go, bus, bus. I'm like, I know, baby. So sometimes we'll just get in the car and, just ride around or something because she loves to ride around and listen to music. So that's at least something that kind of gives us both a little bit of a break. But yeah, summer, it is rough, very rough. Oh, Fast Charlie. Okay, I haven't heard of that, but that's really cool since it was filmed in, parts of your local area and I local to me too in Alabama. I'm not, obviously I'm a neighbor to Mississippi and clearly not too far from Louisiana. Okay, that sounds cool. Oh, talking animals. Okay, that does sound like fun, Swank. I love it. Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but thank you for putting another like to be watched series on my radar. Thank you. Thank you. I have never read Lonesome Dove, but I remember my parents because I don't remember what year it came out, but I was obviously still living at home, so I was pretty young. But I remember my parents. I think I was still living at home. If I know the year, I'll be able to tell you. But I remember my parents watching Lonesome Dove, and they really, really liked it. Maybe I can read it sometime. Far from home. Okay, thank you very much. Summer to me feels like a good time to read adventure type horror stories. There was like a destination horror story book I have. It's a collection. Not all no. Something like those who wander are lost or all those who wander are lost. A short story collection from Gemma Amore. And I liked it a lot. Yeah, I would need to read the book before I watch the series. But here's my problem. I don't like westerns. I don't like westerns at all. So let me know because I feel like most of you here know me and know my taste. Do you think I would even like this book at all? Like, what do you think? Like the only movie, like Western type movie I can think that I like, and this really shows how messed up I am, is Bone Tomahawk. Even though, I have only watched it twice, because, there's a few scenes, but there was really one scene that if you saw it once, that was too much. But I do like that movie. So let me know what y'all think. Let me see what time we're on. We'll be on till about 1, especially since Renna is here and it's just me and her right now. I don't want to go past an hour because I mean, she can obviously come to the door if she needs me, but I feel like for the most part, I need to be in there with eyes on her. But she usually just kind of has a little setup area that she likes her blanket and she likes to get under a chair like our we have an extra dining room chair And one of her comfort things is to get under a blanket. And I'm talking about, she wants a thick blanket, even in the summer like we are right now. Rena wants that thick blanket. So she'll get on her little spot on the floor, put her thick blanket on her, and then she like pulls the chair over her so that she's like, under the legs of the dining room chair. And she has her little, she's obsessed with ice trays. And so she has an ice tray and she just listens to her music and just hangs out. And then tells me when, she gets up and tells me when she wants to eat a snack, or like I'll tell her, okay, Brenda, it's time for lunch. And so she'll get up and, but other than that, she usually just vibing, with her blanket, her chair, her ice tray, and her music, just having the best time. So let me check the comments now and see what's going on. Hello, Pearls and Plot Twist. I love your name. That is fantastic. I love that so much. Love it. Is there another name that you would like to go by? Or do you want me to call you Pearls and Plot Twist? Because I do love that. Yeah, okay. That's what I needed to know. I needed somebody to be like for real with me. Yeah, I'll probably just skip out on it because I don't think it would, the being the Western, I don't think it would appeal to me. And that's fine because a lot of the books I read would not would not appeal to a lot of people either. Okay, Pearl. Well, there you go. That's beautiful. I love that name. I love that. And I love your username too. So let me think of what else we can chat about for a few minutes. I did put this on my YouTube post and then also on Discord, but I will not be having Tuesday self-care sprints for the rest of July. I will return back in August with Tuesday self-care sprints. But I just needed to take this month of July off and not be bound to having to be on. And by on, I mean like on camera, and I mean on as in like not that I'm like a different person online than I am in real life, but you know what I'm saying, like to be required to be smiling. And I guess I could get on self-care sprints and cry. Y'all wouldn't care. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like with Brenna here too, that extra stress of trying to get everything ready and get on and to be bound to a certain time period on Tuesdays. So I decided for my self-care that we will get back to our self-care sprints in August. I don't know, like I have any of you seen Obsession? I finally got to watch it when it was streaming. I'd wanted to go see it in the theaters, but I never could make it work out. Obviously, we can't say a lot about it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But for me, anyway, it lived up to the hype, and it has something very important to say and to point out. And it's really, really fitting for the current time in which we find ourselves. But I really did love it, and it's also really cool that the writer and director of Obsession is from Mobile, Alabama, which is I used to live in Mobile, and then in 2004 we moved to an area that's a little bit north of Mobile, about 35 to 40 miles north of Mobile, as a matter of fact. But it's just really cool to have somebody local make it so big like that, and be like, hey, he's from Mobile. But I loved Obsession. So I do also want to watch Backrooms. It's hard for me to get to the movie theater for a lot of different reasons. I mean, the cost and then the logistics, especially in the summer. But I really will probably have to wait for Backrooms to come out on streaming. But I'm really excited to see it. And I'm excited to see the new Evil Dead movie. I know I've heard a few mixed things about it, but that's fine because everybody, is going to have their different opinions. But I'm excited to see it. And I watched Undertone once it was streaming on HBO Max, and I really liked it a lot. I know some people didn't, but I really did like it. And I am working on something like writing something about it too. But I thought it was really creepy and really unique. Some people said it was boring, but I didn't think it was boring at all. So let me know if you've seen those or any other like newer movies. there, I think I will. No, not watch it. All right, True Grit. I'll try that maybe. Okay. Hey Agatha, how are you? So it looks like if I'm gonna read any of the westerns, they need. I can't even talk, y'all. I need to start with True Grit. Oh my gosh, yeah, I did. I saw Hokum in the movie theater. Tim and I actually had a date day and went to the matinee. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I liked this director's other movies too, Caveat and Oddity. Hokum is great for folk horror. This it's really incredible. It would be a perfect October watch. I mean, it's good any time of year, but there's like it's around Halloween, so it'd be a really great, like perfect October watch. But it's so good. I loved it. Oh, yikes! Another love for Hokum. Yeah, it's it is growing, and it's really exciting, because as you all know, like I've been on YouTube for over 2.5 years now, and just got to 500. Y'all, I don't know. I have not been drinking. I promise, I have not been drinking anything but water and tea and coffee. But my brain is just not braining, or my mouth isn't working, or the two aren't coordinating together. But yeah, having been on YouTube for 2.5 years and just making 500 subscribers, which is fine because we're here today. This is a community, and I finally let go of that number hang up. I can't say that it doesn't, come to mind sometimes, but for the most part, I'm just like, I can't worry about all that. That algorithm said I can't, that's too much. That strips all the joy away. Um, but it's been heartening to have a growth, you know, happening on Substack. And so I'm also, I will be still filming videos, but I used to make myself film one a week. But now it's just going to be when I have the mental capacity for it, because most of my creative energy right now is going to Substack, because I do have some paid subscribers there. And so, I just want to make sure that I'm making what I do worthwhile. Not that I'm not making worthwhile content or doing my best on YouTube either, but it's just it's a little bit different, I guess you could say. But I do like Substack is very encouraging, and there's a lot of interaction with other writers on Substack, and they're willing to share my stuff, and I'm willing to share their stuff. It's very supportive. I mean, I'm sure there's some, spots that may not be as supportive, but I really am enjoying it quite a bit. I really am. Okay. 2 mules for Sister Sarah. Okay. I will add that to the possibilities if I ever dip my toe into Westerns. That is honestly a big if, but I'll keep it in the back of my mind. Um, so I'm trying to think of what else before we go. Um, this is July. Yes, this is July. And the Literary Love Book Club pick for July is What Hunger by Catherine Dang. And we will have the live show that second Sunday in August. So you still have plenty of time to read it. I haven't started reading it yet. I will probably start a little more toward the end of July, since the live show is not until the second Sunday in August. So I am looking forward to reading it and talking about it. Right now, I don't even know if I talked about what I'm currently reading, except for my audiobooks. Ebook right now, I am reading The Bell Chime by Mona Kabani, because it has been sitting in my Kindle for I don't know how long. And so I decided I finally need to read it. So I'm also trying to look at the books I have on Kindle, because sometimes I will forget. And I'm like, just, you have these books. Why don't you read these books? So I'm reading it. And then I think right after I finish The Bell Chime, I'm going to read Clive Barker's The Hellbound Heart, because Hellraiser is one of my favorite movies. I did a rewatch of it a couple of weeks ago, because I would probably say every couple of months anyway, I rewatch Hellraiser as a comfort movie. But I've never read The Hellbound Heart, so I'm going to read it next. So I'm just trying to kind of lean into my moods and just embrace whatever is coming, and not try to force certain things. And that's helping my mental health a lot, because I feel like a lot of you here know too that my mom is in end stage Parkinson's in a long-term care facility and on hospice, with no real mental, like, lucidity left, mostly hallucinations, and then physically, just not doing well at all. So there's a lot of grief that is on a perpetual, what feels like a never ending cycle, because this is something that just it prolongs all of this, and it just stretches out the grief. So I'm just plugging along. And I do have therapy, and I don't mind telling you all, I have major depressive disorder, so I do take antidepressants. I have a psychiatrist too, and I'm just doing a lot of taking care of myself. I don't know. I just told you all that at the end of the day today, but maybe that also, not that I needed a reason, but that may also give you a little more insight into my decision to not do self care sprints for the rest of July, and then pick back up again in August. But I want to end on something happier, because that was just a downer. So let me know something that is bringing you joy right now. It could be a book, it could be a movie, it could be anything. So one of the things that is bringing me joy right now is a coffee creamer flavor. And it is birthday cake. Now, at first, when I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not, because this could like be really good or it could be really nasty. But I went ahead and gave it a try, and it is fantastic. It is like you are, you know, licking the beater with the cake batter or whatever. It's so good. So if you like cake batter, then you should try birthday cake coffee creamer. It is Coffee Mate brand, and it is so good. That I mean, coffee is something I look forward to anyway. It's something that always brings me joy. But then when you can add a little extra, joyful thing into it, that is just icing on the cake. See what I did there? See, all right. See, we can make jokes and have fun. So let's see what yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like Substack is a bit more substantial. But again, my growth could stall there and I will be, I'll be okay with it. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And just remembering that I am not anybody else, and nobody else is me either. So no comparison, no comparison. Sending a big hug to you, Crystal, because I know you have, I think probably all of us have a lot on our plate, but Crystal, I know you do too, for sure. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way. We'll say that. I learned the real hard way in 2017 what happens when I don't take care of myself. Yeah, I feel like we're all kind of struggling. And most of the time, there is something that we're usually, something is a struggle in our lives. Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much. You bring me joy too. I love you too very much. Oh, see, there you go. Then you got a choice. You must be a big raspberry fan. All of those sound really good. Oh, nice. That's really nice. Because clearly we need to be buying local produce right now. We do have a garden here that I'm very thankful for. So it's nice. It's nice when you can have local produce. It's nice anyway, but it might be extra helpful right now if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's so good, Crystal. If you try it, you have to let me know what you think of it. Even if you're like, what was she talking about? This is nasty. Oh, summer watermelons make Tim very happy too. Um, Here's my confession. I don't like watermelon. I know. Y'all are gonna revoke my, Southern card, but I don't like watermelons and I don't like sweet tea either. So people are like, well, you shouldn't be in the South. I'm like, I don't want to be in the South, so I guess it tracks. But I've always wanted to like watermelon because every time people are eating it, it looks like they're having so much fun and they're just loving it. And it just looks like a good time. But I don't like it, and it makes me sad because I can't I can't join the fun and I can't get excited. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I love that. I love it. So cute. Fred and Wilma and Pebbles. I love it. Oh, yep. I have some ready whip too that sometimes, especially in the summer, I might put a little on top of my coffee. Oh, I didn't even, well, I guess, sometimes anything really can cause indigestion, but I guess from the time that I did try watermelon, I can see that it definitely could cause that problem. I hate that since you like it and wish you could eat it, I'm sure. All right, everybody. Well, I just want to say thank you for coming and joining the tea party today. We will do it again in October, the fall edition, which I am clearly very, very excited. Thank you for hanging in for Goblin Market. I should have looked at it again because I haven't looked at it in several years, to be honest. But I should have looked at it again for the length because as I was reading, I was like, oh my God, I didn't remember it was this long. These people watching, joining me are going to be like, is she just going to read the whole time? So thank you. Thank you for for hanging in. But yeah, the tea I drank was inspired by that poem. So that's why I read it, but it was a long one. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Have a wonderful week this week. Even though I'm not doing self care sprints in July, that doesn't mean that we're taking off self-care. So you make sure that you are taking care of yourself, and make sure that you join me for self-care sprints again in August when we come back. He's in good company then, or I'm in good company, because we can just hate on watermelon together. I was fixing to say thank you for being here. That's my own comment. That is my own comment. Y'all, I don't even know anymore. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all taking your time out on a Sunday to be here. And I love all of you. And I will see you again very soon.